He even added that we were trying to steal their money, which was laughable, considering their 2 credit card payments behind and live off social security. I should have been angry. Music. But I wasn't. I was tired. My sister and I met once a week after that. Music. Sometimes with the girls. Sometimes just us. First it was. We weren't used to being on the same side. But it got easier. About our parents a little, but more. Often we talked about everything else. Schools, the weird things our kids say. We even started joking about getting matching tattoos that said, "Not music." The golden child. Then came the letter. It arrived in a plain white envelope, with no return address. Music. I opened, thinking it might be some bill they accidentally forwarded to me, but it wasn't. It was a handwritten note from my mom, only 2 sentences long. Think you've won something, but you'll need us eventually. Music. Everyone does. There was no greeting, no name, just that. I didn't show it to Ellie. I just folded it, stuck it in the folder with everything else, and emailed a scan to our lawyer. My sister got one, too. Almost identical, except hers said, "Your music daughter won't love you if you turn her against her grandparents." That was the moment she cut them off. Completely. No hesitation, no questions. Music. She changed her number. Blocked every contact. He even warned her husband's family not to share any updates with them. She was done. But something happened that neither of us expected. Music. A week after the letters, my sister and I went to clean out the storage unit we shared with our parents. We were still paying the fee on, and we figured it was time to deal with it. Inside were the usual junk piles: old chairs, broken holiday decorations, boxes of photos, but tucked in a plastic bin labeled Barber High School was something that stopped me. Cold. Music. There was a small stack of letters, all unopened, all addressed to me, from colleges, from internships I'd applied to. One was from a writing program in New York. I barely remembered applying to full acceptance with a scholarship. All dated from the same summer, the year I'd stayed home and worked 3 part-time jobs because my parents told me I wasn't college material. They'd hidden them. My sister found me standing there holding one of the letters, frozen. She didn't ask. He didn't need to. We both knew this started long before Thanksgiving. That was just the moment. Music. Everything snapped. We stood there for a long time. In that storage unit. Smelled like dust and old regret, but the silence was louder than anything. My sister didn't say a word when I handed her the letters. She just read the names on the envelopes, looked at the postmarks, and shook her head slowly, like she couldn't believe what she was seeing, even though he could. I think she just didn't want to admit they'd been that cruel. But that's the thing. Music. They always were. Thanksgiving wasn't the beginning. It was the final public crack in something that had been broken since we were kids. That's what those letters proved. They'd always seen me as disposable, someone to lean on but never lift up. Music. We boxed up the rest of the storage unit and tossed half of it in a dumpster behind the building. Music. The rest we donated. Exactly 1 box each. Photos of us as music kids before we realized what kind of parents we had. We agreed not to show them to our daughters. Let them remember the present, not the damage we escaped from. Music. Then we heard nothing. Christmas came and went. No cards, no surprise visits, no passive-aggressive texts. Music. About being the only parents spending the holidays alone. They didn't even try. My guess is the police warning and the lawyer shook them more than they let. Good. My sister and I took the girls ice skating that winter. It was clumsy and cold and perfect. Music. Ellie fell twice. Mia cried once, and I ended up buying $24 worth of hot chocolate for kids who took 3 sips, and music abandoned it. But the entire time I kept thinking this is what family is supposed to feel like. Not control, not music. Guilt. Not being treated like a servant because of whose daughter I was. Peace. We made a plan that day. Every holiday we'd spend music Together. No drama. No weird tension. Just us and the girls. Maybe in a cabin. Next year. Maybe out of music state. Maybe somewhere warm. It didn't matter. What mattered was we finally saw it for what it was. They didn't change. We did. They're still living in that house. Music, assume. Still telling neighbors. Some twisted version of events. So, hoping we'll cave. They don't know that. I framed one of those college letters and put it above my desk. Not as a reminder of what I missed, but of how far I've come in spite of them. I asked about them once, just once. Why don't we see Grandma and Grandpa anymore? I thought for a second and said, because not all people who share your name treat you like they love you. Some just want to be in charge. Nodded, said, okay. Went back to playing. She's already stronger than I ever was at her age. And that's how I know I'm doing this right. I'm not rebuilding the past. I'm building something new, something better. And they're not invited that I didn't care anymore. Not about her feelings. Not about what she thought I should have done. Something in me had finally burned out, like a fuse that had taken too many hits and just stopped. I said nothing. He hated that. She turned to my dad, waiting for him to back her up. He scratched his head, glanced at me, then muttered, maybe just let it go, Barb. I closed the door before they even reached the car. That night I lay in bed replaying everything, not just Thanksgiving. All of it. Every comment. Every dismissal. Every moment I swallowed something just to keep the peace. The time she told me I'd never be as smart as my sister. The way she brushed off my miscarriage like it was an inconvenience. The year she forgot Ellie's birthday and somehow made it my fault for not reminding her. I had excused all of it. Forgiven it. Minimized it. But this time was different. They didn't just disrespect me. They humiliated my daughter. In her own home. And no one said a word. Not even my sister. So I made a list. A real one. Pen and paper. Every ride. Every errand. Every favor I'd done in the past year. Doctor appointments. Prescription pickups. Watching their dog while they vacationed in Florida. Sorting their taxes because Barbara's good with paperwork. Line after line. And when I finished, I made a decision. No more. They were going to get exactly what they'd given me. Distance, silence, indifference. And if they thought I was bluffing, they didn't know me at all. They didn't call for 3 days after Thanksgiving. Not once. Not to check on Ellie. Not to apologize. Nothing. I wasn't surprised, but I still kept checking my phone like maybe this time would be different. It wasn't. I knew the pattern. Silence as punishment. Pretend I was the problem. Then circle back later like nothing ever happened, usually when they needed something. So I changed the script. That Thursday I didn't take my mom to her physical therapy appointment. I'd been driving her every week, 30 minutes each way, sitting in the parking lot like a chauffeur. No gas money. No thank you. Just complaints. At 10:47 my phone rang. I let it go to voicemail. Barbara, I'm still at home. You're late. Are you coming or not? Annoyed. Not worried. I didn't call back. That afternoon my dad texted. What's going on? Your mom's upset. Please talk to us. I left it on read. The next day my mom messaged. So this is how you treat your parents after everything we've done for you? No mention of Ellie. No apology. Just the same old script. So I moved to phase 2. I had been managing all their bills. Electric, insurance, credit cards, even a newspaper subscription they refused to cancel. I'd set up autopay years ago because they kept forgetting, and then blaming me for late fees. I logged into every account. Canceled everything. Logged out. Deleted every password I had saved. 2 days later my dad left a voicemail. Their power company had called. Missed payment. Possible shutoff. He sounded confused. Third. I answered that one. I'm not your secretary, I said. Figure it out. Then I hung up. And for the first time in years I felt lighter. Like I had stepped out of a role I never agreed to play. One I was handed because I was dependable. Because I didn't make scenes. That was always my sister's job. She called the next day. I almost didn't answer, but curiosity got me. They're freaking out, she said. They think you're ghosting them. Everything's falling apart. What are you doing? I'm doing what I should have done years ago, I said. letting them handle their own lives. Silence. Then her tone shifted. Okay, but you just cut them off? No warning. I didn't soften it. No warning. You were there. You saw what she did to Ellie. Pause. And you said nothing. She paused. I didn't think it was that serious. I stared at my phone. She pushed her to the ground, I said slow and clear, and told her she wasn't family. Silence. Then a quiet exhale. I don't know. I'll talk to them. That should have been the end of it. I honestly expected her to take their side again. That's how it always worked. But 2 days later she texted me out of nowhere. Did she really push Ellie? That stopped me cold. Because that question meant one thing: she was starting to doubt them. I didn't answer right away. I waited 2 days. Let it sit. Then I replied, you were there. You just didn't want to believe it. She didn't respond. But something had shifted. Because when it finally reached her child, everything changed. I thought I had more time before things escalated. I was already planning, cutting off support, limiting contact, documenting everything, even looking into legal options just in case. But they unraveled faster than I expected. And I didn't expect my sister to flip. It happened the next weekend. She took her daughter Mia over to my parents' house. Said she just wanted to keep the peace. Let things cool down. Pretend everything was fine. I told her to be careful. She brushed me off. That night she called me crying. Not defensive. Not angry at me. Furious. Apparently they were all sitting in the living room. My mom talking about something meaningless. My dad half asleep in his chair. Mia playing on the floor with her favorite toy, a little unicorn named Stella. He loved that thing. Dressed it up. Made it a crown. Took it everywhere. And then my mom stepped on it. Not by accident. She looked down and crushed it under her heel. Said it was cheap plastic. Said Mia needed to stop acting like a baby. Mia started crying. My sister told her to go wait in the car. Then she turned to our mom and asked straight out, why would you do that? And my mom said, she's too soft. Just like Ellie. You're raising her weak. That was it. That was the moment it clicked. This wasn't about me being too sensitive. It wasn't about overreacting. This was who they were. And they weren't hiding it anymore. My sister left without another word. Didn't even look back when my dad stumbled trying to follow her out. The next morning she showed up at my door. No warning. Just walked into my kitchen with Mia and a bag of pastries like we were still close the way we used to be. She didn't even take off her coat. You were right, she said. I'm done. I didn't rush it. I poured her coffee. Sat across from her. Then she pulled out her phone and showed me pictures of the broken unicorn. I want to do whatever you're doing, she said. All of it. So I showed her. The folder I'd been building. Screenshots, notes, dates, patterns. Missed appointments, manipulation, everything I'd been tracking quietly for weeks. She didn't question any of it. Just nodded. That week we called a lawyer. Not to sue, there wasn't enough for that yet, but to start a record. A pattern. Something official in case things got worse. The lawyer was honest. No charges without clear harm. But she agreed. This wasn't normal. And it was escalating. So we documented everything. Filed a formal notice. Not a full restraining order, just a paper trail. Then I filed an incident report for Thanksgiving. No charges. Just a warning delivered to their house. But it was enough. 2 days later my mom called from a number I didn't recognize. Left a voicemail low and shaking with anger. How dare you bring the police into this? You want war? You've got it. I didn't react. Because this wasn't war. It was consequences. And for the first time they couldn't twist the story. We had proof. We had each other. They'd spent years keeping us divided. Now we were aligned. After the warning, everything went quiet. No calls. No texts. No voicemails. Nothing. At first I expected something dramatic. Public posts, surprise visits, some kind of scene. But instead, they disappeared. For a while I wondered if they were planning something. Then my sister got a call from one of our dad's old friends. He'd seen them at the grocery store. And apparently my mom was telling people we'd cut them off because we were ungrateful. And had joined some kind of women's cult. I almost laughed. Because even now, even after everything, they still needed a story where they were the victims. But this time it didn't matter. We weren't listening anymore. My mother even started telling people we had cut them off because we were ungrateful. Or worse, that we were trying to take their money. It would have been laughable if it wasn't so exhausting. Instead of getting angry, I just felt done. My sister and I began meeting once a week. Sometimes with the girls, sometimes just the two of us. At first it was awkward, we weren't used to being on the same side. But slowly it became easier. We talked about school, about our kids, about normal things. We even joked once about getting matching tattoos that said, "Not the golden child." Then the letter came. Plain envelope. No return address. Inside, just 2 sentences in my mother's handwriting. "You think you've won something, but you'll need us eventually. Everyone does." No name. No apology. Just control, even from a distance. I didn't show it to Ellie. I folded it, added it to the growing file, and sent a copy to our lawyer. My sister got one too. Hers was almost the same, except it warned her that her daughter wouldn't love her if she turned her against her grandparents. That was it for her. No hesitation this time. She changed her number, blocked everything, and warned everyone not to pass along information. He was done for real. A week later, we went to clean out the storage unit we'd been paying for. We expected junk, and that's mostly what we found. Old furniture, broken decorations, dusty boxes. Then I opened one labeled with my name. Inside were letters. Dozens of them. All addressed to me. All unopened. College acceptances. Internship offers. One from a writing program in New York. With a scholarship. They were all from the same summer. The summer I stayed home working 3 jobs because my parents told me I wasn't college material. They hadn't just discouraged me. They had hidden my future. I stood there holding those envelopes, unable to move. My sister didn't ask questions. He didn't need to. He saw it too. This didn't start at Thanksgiving. That was just the moment everything finally broke in the open. We cleared out the unit that day. Threw away what didn't matter. Donated the rest. Each of us kept one small box. Photos from before we understood what kind of family we had. We agreed on one thing. Our daughters wouldn't carry this history. They deserved better. Weeks passed. Then months. Silence from our parents. No calls, no messages, no surprise visits. For once they stayed gone. Winter came, and one afternoon we took the girls ice skating. It was messy and loud and imperfect. Ellie fell. Mia cried. I spent too much money on hot chocolate no one finished. But it was peaceful. And for the first time, I understood what family was supposed to feel like. No tension. No fear. No walking on eggshells. Just calm. We made a decision that day. Every holiday from now on would be ours. No drama. No obligations. Just us and the kids. Maybe a cabin next year. Maybe somewhere warm. It didn't matter. What mattered was this. They didn't change. We did. As far as I know, my parents are still in that same house, telling their version of the story, waiting for us to come back. We won't. I framed one of those college letters and hung it above my desk. Not as a reminder of what I lost, but of what I survived. Ellie asked about them once. Why don't we see Grandma and Grandpa anymore? I thought for a moment, then told her the truth in a way she could carry. Because not everyone who shares your name knows how to love you properly. She nodded, accepted it, and went back to playing. She's already stronger than I was at her age. And that's how I know I did the right thing. I'm not trying to fix the past. I'm building something new. Something safe. And they don't get to be part of it anymore.